Welcome to USFL Extra Point. I'm your host, Joe Piatella, right here on Muscle Sport TV. Year 1 in the books. Year 2, it can't come soon enough. Great fucking job. I mean, really, listen, everybody involved with the USFL, straight up, this was a very, very positive way for a spring football league, alternative football, however you want to classify it, to come off, especially on the heels of the Alliance and the XFL, both unable to complete their first seasons respectively for different reasons. XFL COVID related, the AAF, it was financial related. So the USFL able to not only complete the season, go through their postseason, have great tight matchups all year long, and culminating in a very tight championship game, 3-point win by the Stallions, 33-30 over the Stars. And it was fun to see Birmingham win, like I said in the previous week's video, because they were the hub city, and I think it was better for the league overall. But now the league has to look towards 2023, and they're looking to have the same type of schedule as far as when it's going to begin. Again, also, it's going to, the XFL is scheduled to start in February of 23. USFL is going to do the same as it did this year, starting in the spring, in like the month of April. They're going to start probably again a 10-week season there, but they're looking to do 2 to 4 teams have a regular home and away schedule, other than having all 8 teams in the hub, in the bubble, if you will, at Birmingham. I know originally at the very beginning of the year, the plan was year 1, all 8 teams in the bubble, year 2, 4 of the 8 teams being in their own stadium, home and away. But then near the end of the year, they said that they're looking at 2 to 4. So I guess what they're going to do in this off season, especially at the very front of it, basically, strategy wise, what's going to happen, which teams could do it. Are these teams going to be the same teams as they were this year? Or are they going to be different teams? Now, in this episode, I'm going to look at the existing teams, and just for argument's sake, saying that these will be the same teams we see next year. I really don't think they are, and I obviously, when I do more articles on the league, I'm going to be talking to Darren James, their media representative, who was great to us all year long, and try to get as much information as possible so I can give it out to you guys out there. But looking at the 8 teams that we see right now, obviously Birmingham's going to come back and will be a home team. The Houston Gamblers. Now, you could always look and say, well, that city has city or state has an existing NFL team, so they probably won't do well there. And you could, sometimes that is true, and other times it isn't. It also depends on where that team plays. Birmingham is perfect for a team like this, and they even did well in the like Birmingham Iron and the AAF and stuff. So Houston Gamblers, yes, there is the Houston Texans. You also have the Dallas Cowboys, we know. Could Houston be a city that could support a team? I'm not even talking about quality of play on the field. We're just talking about people knowing about this and trying to get themselves to go to these games. Obviously, this year, the attendance was not as a big, important aspect of it. It was more of ratings, because you had 2 big networks, Fox and NBC. Ratings were great. There was 1.5 million at one point watching the final. Opening night was a great night with Jersey and Birmingham, going back a few months, week 1. So the stands were good for the Birmingham games, not so good for the other games. So it's probably going to be a tough sell in any city. Okay, Birmingham seems to be very supportive of this team, so that's why they have to find places where these teams can play. Houston, I don't see them being one of these teams. The Michigan Panthers, however, were very successful in the original USFL in the 80s. Detroit Lions Michigan's a big state. They don't have to play in Detroit. And I think if they do have the Michigan Panthers to come back, which I think is a good idea, especially if Fisher is still the coach and Paxton Lynch is still the quarterback, I think he's going to get another shot in the NFL. Lynch, he deserves it. He played well enough to get a look. You don't play in Detroit. You play in a smaller area of the state where you have maybe a good college or high school base there. So I do like the Michigan Panthers. The New Jersey Generals. This one's it kills me because I'm a Generals fan. Being a New Yorker, I loved the Generals when they were around the first time, especially they had Brian Sipe, Herschel Walker, Doug Flutie took over, Donald Trump, my president, of course. And then they were supposed to have Jim Kelly when the Houston Gamblers merged with the Generals, but they never got that season off the ground in '86 because of the antitrust lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to rehash old things. So to me, to have the team as the New Jersey Generals takes a lot of possibilities out of this team being successful as a home and away team. If they do play in Jersey, they have to play at Red Bull Stadium. There is no way that they're going to play at the new Giant Stadium. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. It's Giant Stadium to me. Like the original Generals did. It's going to be the Guardians were in the XFL. It's going to be empty, the place. They're going to have a tarp at the top. It's not going to look right. The Birmingham Stadium was great. It was the University of Alabama, Birmingham's stadium, and the MLS Stadium of the team from Birmingham that played in the MLS. That was their stadium as well. Red Bull Stadium will be perfect for this. See, that's why I think if they were not the New Jersey Generals, if they were a New York team, they could play at a smaller place in the confines of New York where there is no pro football except Buffalo. Because the Jersey Giants and the Jersey Jets, call them whatever you want, they play in Jersey. Now, would it be weird to have the New Jersey Generals play in New York? Just as weird as it is to have the New York Jets and New York Giants play in New Jersey. So I think that even though they're going to probably want that because it's a big market, too much going on here, I'm going to unselfishly say that I don't think the Generals are a good candidate to be a team to have its home and away schedule. New Orleans Breakers. Now, this was a vagabond team in the original USFL. Boston, Portland, and New Orleans. The Breakers played in 3 cities and 3 seasons. They have them in New Orleans now. Obviously, we know the New Orleans Saints are there. Could they play in a different area of Louisiana? Again, it's a city name, not a state like Michigan. You could have them play in the outskirts. Again, the Saints are a pretty big draw in the NFL. I don't think the Breakers are going to get that much attention. Pittsburgh Maulers. Well, first of all, I don't think there should be a Pittsburgh Maulers. That was a very bad job. That whole team was run very badly by not only Wayne Kirby. I think the whole way that whole team was put together was just, they were completely overmatched and outcoached in every aspect in every game. They won 1 game, I believe, over Houston throughout the whole season. But Pittsburgh, obviously, steal a town. There's no way you're going to be able to play in Pittsburgh and have 4 home games, even if they put them in a place that's not the same Heinz Field. I don't see that being a draw. Philadelphia Stars, again, a big city with a lot going on. The Eagles, you have the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, not a good candidate if they were the Pennsylvania Stars or even, Baltimore would have been. They played in two cities in the original league, even though they were one of the better teams. They still couldn't put enough people in the seats. The team had to move, I think, after they played in the championship game. So I don't think Philly's a good idea. Tampa Bay Bandits, again, same problem. Tampa Bay Bucks with Brady coming back. Are people going to go see the Tampa Bay Bandits after they just watched Tom Brady probably win another fucking Super Bowl at age 90, whatever the fuck he is? Probably not. So, asking me, I say they do 2 teams, the Michigan Panthers and the Birmingham Stallions, if they stay with this same 8-team setup. I do have some good ideas as far as using, because they want to use the original USFL team names, cities, and logos, and they, modified them slightly. But I think out of these 8 teams, the only 2 that could probably, if they place the Michigan team in a proper place outside of Detroit, would be the Panthers and the Stallions, and all the other teams should be in the hub back in Birmingham. Hey, this ESPN, Extra Point USFL, God forbid ESPN, the fucking woke ESPN, is being brought to you by Muscle Sport Mag. Go to musclesportmag.com/store. $32 a year, free shipping United States. We ship worldwide, $5 to Canada and $8 elsewhere per issue if you live outside of the U.S. And we will see you in a week.